It's been a long time since we talked about any kind of stories from the Dungeons & Dragons table, but there's just... I've been in such a mood to, like, I've been in my D&D headspace really hard lately, so I'm really in the mood to talk, and we had something happen recently that I have to get out on video. I have to talk about this, because I will implode if I do not discuss it. So, it's been a long time, but when previously we discussed my Dungeons & Dragons adventures, you found out about Renard, my ranger who has an interesting build, which allows him to do absolutely insane things. So, just to recap the things you need to know in order to actually understand the story if you haven't watched the previous videos. Renard started off life as a fox, who was mysteriously changed into the form he is now, a tiefling. He was raised by a woman, an elf named Chien, who was basically a shadow assassin, very much like the hired murderer type. But she took Renard in, treated him like a little brother, and that's the relationship they have. So you need to understand this. You also need to understand the way that I was approaching the other aspects of Renard. So, in my head, I always try to figure out all the different ways my character is going to act in different situations, and I'm trying to figure out how their brain ticks to inform the way I portray them. In Renard's case, I have to think about how he's going to interact with other characters. In particular, how is my boy here going to interact to characters of the opposite gender? Or not even that, like any character that he would end up crushing on, because I went through many options. I went through and I didn't leave like anything as a taboo. Everything was on the table. I think originally what I decided was that he was going to be completely ace. That in the instincts of a fox are not going to work in this particular form, and that just the romantic side of life may not interest him whatsoever. Just because with what he originally was, he wouldn't find attraction to a fellow humanoid. So that was what I went into. But the more we got into it and the more we played around, I figured, it really is kind of boring to completely cut that aspect out. So maybe there is a situation, and we end up in one. So we now have a female tiefling in the party by the name of Makaria. One of our players replaced his character with this one, and this one is something of a spin-off of a recurring character that they play all the time. There's a multiverse of Makarias out there. So the most famous, the Prime Makaria, she's how do I say this without being demonetized? She's exceedingly promiscuous. I think that's about as scientific of a phrase as I can spin this. There's a reputation to her. This Makaria, on the other hand, is only in love with science. She is a brain, she is, a researcher, a chemist, etc., etc. She's an artificer. So she actually has a lot of, a very different slant to her than previous Makarias. So this was supposed to be the one that isn't getting romanced. Makaria, however, is a female tiefling, and this would be the first time that my boy Renard, who was a fox until about two and a half years ago at this point in game, probably has never seen a female tiefling before. So immediately things are kind of clicking in his head. And it doesn't help that because he is a ranger, he can actually help out in a lot of what Makaria needs to do out in the field, collecting ingredients, tracking animals, etc. That's all Renard's stuff. So they end up together a lot. And I felt, It's more fun if things start clicking, especially because this is such an awkward, like Renard is already very awkward in social situations, so to add this to it, oh boy, this got fun. This got fun to portray. So, Chien is the type to bounce whenever she thinks there's going to be too much attention on her. She's very much in hiding herself. So, she jumped back into the group recently, and Renard took this chance to actually ask, how do I talk to girls? Chien is a hardened assassin. While she feels a responsibility to Renard, this is so far out of her wheelhouse. This is the most awkward situation I could possibly put her in. This leads to some of the most awkward role-playing I've ever done in my life, but it was hilarious. And everyone at the table got a kick out of it, so that's what's important to me. And it was fun. It was fun. That's what it's the whole point of this, right? So there's a lot of advice. There's a lot of jumping the gun. Like, Renard is not trying to bed Macaria. He is literally just wants to know how to confront a girl that he's kind of crushing on. So Chien's idea, the best thing she can come up with to help me in this situation, is set up what is essentially speed dating, except speed dating for fighters. So it's this run of here's these contacts I have in this town. I'm gonna pick out the ones that need a little bit of field work done, a little bit of assistance on a hunt or something, and then Renard can go out and talk. They can get talk to them and try to impress them, etc. If something happens, it happens. But this is kept so vague from Renard, he has no idea. All he thinks he's doing is helping Chien's friends. That's it. That's literally the only thing going through his head. He has no idea this is what he's supposed to be doing. So it's only after the first date. It's only after the first date. We kind of reconvene, because the second date that walked up came up to us very injured, cut, bloodied, barely walking. And according to her, someone attacked her who didn't dress or sound, but looked like Macaria. So now we're immediately thinking changeling, disguise self, person. We're trying to think of all the magics and all the things that this is involved in. This could possibly be. And this kind of puts us on high alert, because we have assassins after us. Renard has assassins after him because of how he is connected to something extremely important in the storyline. So there are several groups that either want him dead because of his association with certain people, or because they themselves want what he has. So we are very, very cautious at this point. One of our characters, our Bard, has basically a robot servant, a warforged that acts as her butler and bodyguard essentially. So when we kind of reconvene, she puts him outside to keep an eye out for anything suspicious and to respond accordingly. Responding accordingly to this warforged apparently meant throw a fireball in the middle of this town, because he caught two people staring in on our little carriage that we are having this discussion in. I don't know. I don't think fireballing is appropriate, but hey, he was on high alert. And we think we have assassins after us, so this is what happens. So now the town is in a panic because explosions are going off. And these two run off. Okay, so so we need to stop these two. They're running through the crowd, so this is not going to be easy. We have a griffin that follows us as a mount. So same girl with the Warforged also has the griffin. So she gets on board the Griffin. I follow behind so she can at least get the Griffin to take off and follow my directions. So once we are in the air, she dives off. Now, keep in mind, we're in this high state of alert. So there's a little bit of self-defense going on in this player's mind when they decide that to stop their free fall onto the ground, they need to turn into something that flies. But we also have potential assassins in our midst. So they were thinking defensively. They were thinking potential combat. They polymorphed themselves into a dragon. So now the town is already going crazy because fireballs are going off in the middle of the town, and now a dragon has appeared. Alright. So, they land and turn back and try to explain it. There's already about 30 guards marching on her, however, so this didn't work out. So now it's a big fireball blew up part of the city, and now this person was a dragon. So like they're putting 2 and 2 together. It's not the correct 2 and 2, but they're not entirely wrong either. Looks bad all around. Oh, it gets worse though. Of course it gets worse, or else this wouldn't be a story. I'm flying on top of this griffin now. I am the crack shot of this party. I am the Batnard. So Renard takes shots with these shock arrows that are going to stun their targets. Shoot down the first one, boom. All right, take a shot at the second one. Oh, that was a crit. I don't want to kill them. So I have Piercer, which lets me re-roll one of my damage dice. I'm gonna re-roll that like 8 and like lower my damage, which I've never done ever. Renard is all about like stacking damage buffs on top of each other, and this is the first time I've gone, yeah, let's dial it back a little bit. So the second one to get shot down, another one of our party members, another tiefling, strangely enough, there's a lot of tieflings in our party, gets to them and like they're checks on them, like gets them to consciousness, and then in trying to figure out if they are an assassin or not, this woman just basically thinks that this tiefling is attacking her, because all she knows is she was hurt, she went down, she woke up, this guy's on top of her. So this does not look good whatsoever. She basically shakes free and tries to run off. Said player is trying to like blunt force trauma some information out by like just kind of like trying to keep the conversation going even though she's walking away. Eventually he gets the fact that this person knows Chien. Chien keeps to the shadows and tries not to reveal herself. There's very few people who should know who Chien is. Why does this person know who Chien is? Because this is one of the potential dates. There were about 6 dates lined up. Renard only got to go on 1. This, number 2 it showed up injured. This was going to be number 3. Guess who number 4 was? Oh, it would be the one I shot first. And when someone from our party gets to that one, they're dead. They are dead. Actually, it's Macaria who gets to that body. I forgot to call non-lethal damage, because, hey, there's a lot of panic going on in this whole situation. Macaria has Revivify, but does not have any diamonds. The only one who has diamonds on them at the moment is Ileana, our bard, who is currently handcuffed and being taken in by the guards. So Macaria commands her war chicken to pick up this body. Don't ask why we have a war chicken. That's just what Macaria wanted. Carries them off to this, and rides them off like a chocobo. Rides them over to the guards and trying everything she can to try and get the guards to like, can I just get this diamond off her finger? Can I just get this diamond off her? Like, this person is dying. I can bring them back right now. I can save them. And the guards are having none of this, because this is just adding to the chaos and strangeness of the whole thing. At one time, she actually tries to make like a lunge for like Ileana's finger. Ileana is trying to like shake the diamond off her finger and can't get a roll high enough to do it. Macaria is like diving for this and then like fumbles and doesn't even come close. So now now the guards are super suspicious of her too. This going badly. So this is already a cluster, and now it becomes a cluster that is on fire, rolling down a hill. Renard lands, and he's trying to defuse this. Okay, so we have clout. We are heroes of the realm. We have notoriety. He drops our team name, the Mournwalkers. He drops that we are like the 12 houses. We have favor with the 12 houses. We are under their watch and protection. We are here on a mission to see your king. You know, and I've got this royal summons right here. Like, we are on the up and up. And, like, it's royal sigil and everything. It's a legitimate document. So, I get advantage to roll this with a persuasion. Renard is not built for charisma. As we've mentioned, he's kind of awkward. So, I get to roll it with advantage because I got the letter and I actually look official. I don't roll higher than a 12. It's good enough to go, we'll take everyone down to the station and get it sorted out, you know, but... oh my god. So, yeah, so Ileana screws up by picking Dragon. None of this would have, like, all this chaos would have been to a minimum if not for Dragon. I should have called non-lethal, so someone died who didn't have to die. And I'm hoping, we still haven't finished this story, by the way. This happened earlier this week. So I'm hoping we get to actually like get them somewhere where we can like properly raise them and save their life. See, I'm trying to think of, like, there's so many things involved here. Our Warforged thing screwed up because they were set on high alert and they shouldn't be throwing fireballs in the middle of a town. Macaria screwed up by not having diamonds on her when she should have to do the revivify thing. The only one who did not screw up was the other male tiefling in the party. He gets off scot-free. And when I say that like he's the only one who didn't screw up, that includes the DM, because the DM forgot Chien was present, and if Chien saw those two snooping in on our carriage when everyone else did, she would have recognized them. So none of this should have happened. Like I said, we haven't finished this one yet. I have no idea how this story ends, but this is the chaos that has gone on in my Dungeons and Dragons lately. My boy, my innocent little tiefling ranger, who's just, you know, a powerhouse when it comes to firing arrows and a power outhouse when it comes to talking to other people. The boy just wants to find love, and because he had a crush, essentially, the town is on fire, the people are panicking, someone is dead, and one of our party members is arrested. That'll show me for trying to find love. I hope you got some amusement out of this story. It's one of the more chaotic things that has gone on. It's a perfect example of really good D&D can come from bad rolls as well as good rolls, because this also came from the fact that none of us could like roll higher than like a 12 this entire time. Everyone failed everything to make all of this happen. But you know what? It's a story, and that's what Dungeons and Dragons is about. It's not just about telling a story, it's about creating a story. And sometimes it's the dice that create the story, and sometimes it's a lot of mistakes that create the story. But at least it's a story. So thank you for listening, and I hope you join me for my next tale from the table. Don't know when it'll be, but, you know, I've got things I want to talk about. So I hope to see you again soon. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.